Today we're going to talk about the process focusing on the process when we're swimming and not necessarily focusing on the product. And really what that means is focusing on all of the things that we do every day in practice and out of practice that make us better at swimming that aren't necessarily related to times or goals or cuts or anything like that. The big reason, I think one of the most important reasons we want to focus on process is that process is most of what we do, right? So swim meets and racing and getting new and improved times is very little compared to the amount of practice that we do. And all the other things involved in our process. Things that are also involved in our process are what we eat, how much we sleep, doing some kind of stretching, doing things outside of the pool that make us more physically fit. All of those things are our process, part of our process. And the reason that we want to focus on the process when we are trying to get better at swimming is because the process is what makes us better. And the product is what we get when we get better. And it's really interesting because the best athletes in the world, the reason they're the best isn't because they're focused on being the best. It's because they're focused on consistently improving. They're the best at getting better. And subsequently that makes them the best athletes in the world. I think another reason that we want to make sure that we're focusing on process instead of product when we're trying to improve is that research really indicates, emphasis on process, focusing on the process improves performance, but not only improves our performance better than focusing on product, it also improves our mental health as well. So those are the big reasons that we want to focus on the process when we're swimming. I know that process involves movement, but we're going to focus on the mental part of focusing on process. And focusing on the process is really about, creating habits, right? We talked about this a couple weeks ago. Creating good habits that you can do every single day that are going to make you better, right? Making small, consistent improvements rather than trying to go big and go home, because usually you end up going home and not going big. And that really disrupts our process. But it also takes a lot of pressure off of what we are asking of ourselves. And so when we're focusing on the process, we're focusing on small, focused details, doing deep practice, and not necessarily constantly worrying about the bigger picture of whether we're doing enough or not doing enough or doing too much. And that's really, what it means. And you have to learn to love the process, because again, the process is so much of what we do in swim practice. If you're in bronze group, you're doing like 4 hours of practice a week. If you're doing in silver group, you're doing like 6 hours of practice a week. In gold, you can do up to 9 hours of practice a week. Seniors doing up to 14 hours of practice a week. To get better at a race that might take 2 minutes. So, part of being able to focus on the process, being able to learn to love the process, swim for the process and not for the product, is about finding that constant small improvement and showing up every day with a goal, showing up every day with an idea of what you're going to get better at that day. That is focusing on the process.